Hello and welcome to this week's live. So today is Australia Day and it's also Indian Republic Day. So wherever you are, if you're celebrating that, you're very welcome. Sorry, I send my love and energy for the celebration and observance of these days. And so, as we welcome everybody, we do this every week. Every single week, we come together for an Akashic review of what the week is all about. So, thank you everyone who's already joined us today and for all the fantastic energies that are to come. So, for the week starting 26th of January 2026, we are looking at a bit of a story. And after the story, we start off with the channeling in the Akashic tune-in, light language activations, and then some comments, questions that we might be able to take in the end. So let's begin. I hope that you're all able to hear me. All right. So the thing that I wanted to share, a highlight of this week, was there were a lot of people going through a lot of internal processing. They were all wanting to get into the Akashic records. I had to open some extra slots, a couple of extra slots last week, to be able to be of service to all the people who were needing that kind of support and energy. And one very interesting theme came about, and it was that there was a particular learning that was really, really old, and people have continued to use that learning in other contexts, in other situations. So I'll give you an example. There were two people, and I wanted to share how interesting it is that both of them had the same kind of energy. So the first is there's a beautiful and very, very empowered lady, and I thanked her for something. I thanked her for something wonderful that she did for me, and whatever wonderful things she's been bringing in the world. And her response was very different. Her response was it was not coming from the heart, so she wanted to embody it, and I could understand that intention. And thankfully, in our connection, there is that depth, so I'm able to understand what she meant by that. The way it came across was, I'm very proud of what I've done, and I'm very happy that you are worthy enough to appreciate me, something on those lines. So and so I'm very happy and celebrating my greatness today, and that you found this opportunity to thank me. So it I'm not sure what she was trying. In that moment, I was a little bit surprised. I wasn't sure what she's trying to do here. And so I really had to tune in to understand what was she trying to do by that, because I know her as a person, and I know how genuinely loving and warm she is. And she is on this journey of continuing and strengthening her empowerment. So there is a lot of appreciation within that. So what I understood was that she was at a very, maybe at some stage in her career, she was taught to own her light, to appreciate when someone is appreciating her, and to really own it really well. um, and it really just came out a bit clunky, that's all. That was one old paradigm being tried, which was being applied in a new situation, and that context was not quite fitting. The other situation that I came across this week was a gentleman, a lovely gentleman, and we went in this Akashic journey together. And we, even before we went into his records, his ancestors came through and they started sending all these messages. So it was particularly the paternal line. So this person's father, grandfather, and brothers, and then the great grandfather, their brothers, and so all of that, particularly the masculine energy, that was where I was seeing the blockages starting to come in. And it was almost something that everyone was trying to learn, but they were not able to fully learn it, and they were passing on that incomplete information one after the other. So we just happened to look in his records and find that a couple of generations ago, he comes from a line of intuitive men, and men who have the power of the word. So when they say something, they actually mean it, and it really gets done. Also, he comes from a line of men who are very knowledgeable. but there is also a father and son wounding that is being passed on from generation to generation. And obviously that's why he was there in his records to clear that and to strengthen that. So as that was happening, he said to me very proudly that his grandfather and his great grandfather, uh, they were so powerful, that if somebody offended them in any way or insulted them or made them feel devalued or underestimated, they would um, they would leave that situation in anger. They would do nothing in that situation, but they would put a they would put a curse on that family. So and he said it very proudly that because of that there are so many family lines that have kind of completely destroyed because they offended his forefathers. And and he was very proud of it. And then when we noticed another thing that was happening in even in his internal journey, what was going on is that he has been feeling this rage, absolute rage, and almost the compulsion to do harm, but he doesn't actually do harm. So it really stays bottled up inside. That energy stays bottled up inside, and he doesn't know what to do with that energy. So all of that started to integrate and come together. The old learning was self defense, and the way it was being applied by his ancestors, and which was again even being passed on to him, and he was also quite proud of it, was that when when you feel undervalued or devalued or uncomfortable, you just you leave the situation in silence. You restrict your self expression, but then you go back and release that energy in a way that is projected out. And when it is projected out and it hurts the other, you won't be there to see it, but the harm will take place. And that was not in the way to cause harm, but it was in a way to protect, but it was causing harm. So when we went and analyzed that, it was he started to observe and reflect that, oh, even in his own life, when he gets angry, he does this, and when other men in his life do that, they also send energy back to him. And again, it was not restricted just to men, but women were also projecting, and he was also projecting to women, but it was primarily this masculine line that was coming in. So there was an old learning which was not fully learned, but it was being applied in clumsy ways. So I would say in this situation, it was being applied in a little bit of a harmful way. And those codes started to dissolve. The blessings started to come in for all these families, all these people that were affected by those curses or by that negative energy, that anger energy, that rage energy that was going out to these people. And I noticed that there was his guides never spoke about forgiveness. They spoke about blessing and love. So the concept of forgiveness wasn't there in his Akash. And it totally makes sense to me. The concept of forgiveness means one is better than the other, or one owes something from the other. But this was a concept of balancing, and that's why all that energy that was going out started to heal and come back in, and the energy that was going out had also started to transmute itself through divine presence. So that was a very interesting thing, and I wanted to share these two examples with you because the theme of our coming week has that energy. You've learned something in the past, and you're trying to apply this in your new situations, but it may or may not work. So there is a guidance that is coming forth that when you're applying something that you learned in the past, um, you consider the situational application of it. You consider other parameters based on which this expression can become useful, helpful, and bring the outcomes that you're looking for. So it is the application of learning. Sometimes when we are learning and we don't fully understand it, it may even cause more harm than good. So this was really about that. And I think there is that theme around this. So think about all those situations or all those things that you consider very dear to you, that, oh, this is so precious to me. I learned this in the past and I want to apply this in my future. And as I apply this in my future, um, one size does not fit all. So you may have to consider how that can be applied in each situation. So there may be a wisdom from it. For example, in the first example where I shared, the lady, when the way she received the appreciation was a little bit awkward. Um, the intention of fully owning her light when someone compliments her, that, to retain that spirit of that energy, and try to apply it in different ways until she gets it. There's nothing wrong with that falling clumsy. And in the situation where I spoke about this gentleman who had a line of men who did not express in the situation, but in their self defense, they held that rage within themselves, and that energy kind of had combustion, so that it was implosion as well as explosion. So first the implosion within themselves because they felt all the upset, and then the explosion because it affected other people. So the self defense part, which is the part where you are protecting your boundary, you're protecting your self esteem, you're protecting the situation that is dear to you, to be able to apply that and try to do it in more creative ways where it doesn't cause harm to you or other people. Because anytime there is a thought of harm for another, you're just really harming yourself, right? We do that consciously, unconsciously from time to time. But when we become conscious, our journey in this lifetime is, especially with all the star seeds coming in, all the earth angels coming in, all the things that are happening, is that we transmute that and find better options and more high dimensional and conscious ways to express ourselves. So bringing in that journey, allow yourself to reflect on this through the week, to see what is that old learning that has been coming out in clumsy ways, and how can you transform the expression of it so that it can apply in each situation differently, while you hold the main meaning of it. Now let's get into the group Akash of this week, starting the 26th of Jan 2026. And it's just such a special day, right? 26th of Jan 2026. So the energy of 26 is very strong today, and it is the strongest beginning of this energy. So you won't have another date which has 26 and 26 like this. So no, I'm sorry, you will have it 12 times, but this is the first time it's happening. So let's even tune into the energy of 26th in the year 2026, bringing in this energy, which is recycling the old and bringing it back and moving it through the energy of the future, all the polarization, all the polarities, polarization coming back to neutrality, polarities coming back to the movement of it. Because if you're stuck in a polarity, then that's the only way that you will express to all situations. But if you start to move that energy and it becomes an infinite wave, that then you're adapting that energy into ways that really works with you, and you're living that through your life. So we're looking at the infinity cycle, the infinity within all things, the movement of energy, the past energy, and moving it into expressions in other ways. So there's that infinite energy that is coming through, even in this date aspect, because 2 and 6 is 8, and we're coming with the energy of the 8. 8 is also the number of infinity and stability and abundance. So it's also bringing in that. But your abundance is not coming to you in special, unique campaign ways. It's coming to you in grounded ways. So look at all those things that you do that create grounding for you, rhythm for you. And as you continue to keep rhythm, your abundance is coming through. So the abundance, of course, there's a financial aspect to it, and then there's abundance of feeling the calm, feeling the contentment in your life, feeling the energy, the abundance of health. So, all of those things are requiring you to be in a grounded energy as we move forward. So, as we tune into the collective Akash, I'm just going to pause for a couple of seconds to see the vision that is there in our collective Akash, and then we'll start to decode it and bring through like language healing for it. All right, this is one of these interesting visions. I mean, every vision is interesting, and once I just also want to mention in between, I'm very thankful for all the people who are joining live. You're so welcome. And as we're looking at the vision for this week, what they showed me, is there is a beautiful bird. It's the closest name I can give to it is a peacock. So this bird is looking through a kind of barricade. There's a restriction. It's not a physical barricade, the human barricade. It's more like there are lots of leaves and there's a lot of obstruction. So what this bird is doing is it's opening its beak really, really wide and it's pulling the stuff out. So it's a very unconventional way for the bird, because I've not seen birds really open them out so much to remove things that are coming in their way. Um, so it seems like the bird is opening his mouth more than it normally does to be able to accomplish this task. So it's kind of like biting more than you can chew. And through that metaphor, what they're showing is once that clearing is done, the bird is now looking towards the horizon, and it's a beautiful ocean, and it's a beautiful, peaceful sunset. And there's a lot of self reflection, there's a lot of happiness, and most importantly, there's a lot of freedom in this. So I'm seeing now that this bird is not a peacock anymore, it's become a much smaller bird. It's become a hummingbird, and it's flying out towards the ocean. And it doesn't have to make sense in the most logical way. This is more a vision and an indication, so it's got symbolism. So in the symbolism of it, what is beginning to happen is that in the beginning of the week, you may feel there's that energy that there are a few things that are stopping you. Clearly, these are the few things that are stopping you from being in your best energy, from living your life with freedom, from being able to have the freedom of choice in few aspects of your life. And as you are picking stuff, one of the suggestions or one of the advice that the spirit is giving through this vision is that allow yourself to take small bites and remove it rather than trying to do all of it at once. So if you're feeling overwhelmed at the beginning of the week, this is a loving and gentle reminder that you can just keep your mouth I mean, you can chew a little bit at a time, and then it will get done anyway. So you just have to take a couple of bites more. But that's much better than your jaws hurting because you've chewed a big one. So then the middle of the week, there is a lot of contemplation energy. And there's also that contemplation that is bringing in grounding, that is bringing in solid assurance that yes, this is where I am, this is now clear. And the end of the week is the energy of freedom. So I'm seeing that this bird, from being a peacock, which is a bird that celebrates rain, which is a bird that in some cultures is considered to be the epitome of purity. And it's also considered, the peacock feather is considered to be the divine masculine energy. So the divine masculine energy of taking action. And that makes sense, because when you're taking action, you don't want to take all the action in one day and then the other days just crash. You want to take sustainable action. So that's the energy in the beginning of the week. So whether you're a man or a woman, this is the energy, and you're honing into the rhythm of doing something. In the middle of the week, there is a transformation happening from that divine masculine energy, which is to go out and achieve goals and to have a vision and to push through. It is becoming a more gentler energy. It's becoming the hummingbird, which is now about being able to find the opportunity, being able to find this nectar in life, no matter what happens. Because as you know, and some of you have done Muneki with me, so you're aware of this. Hummingbirds are known for being the most amazing, mysterious birds, because aerodynamically they're not supposed to even fly. The tiny wings on the tiny body, and yet they fly, and they not only fly, They migrate from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere and back, and they manage these long distances of migration, and yet they they rely on the nutrition of honey. So they go into the nutrition of nectar. They go down, they fly down, they choose flowers and they pick their nectar, and they are happy and bubbly. If you've ever seen a hummingbird, you can't help but be happy and feel joyful because of their light energy, their wings, their fluttering. There's just playfulness around that. And that's what they're talking about, that no matter how many difficult tasks you have ahead of you to accomplish, especially this week, as it's now the end of Jan. Now things are starting to become serious, and now people are starting. If you're in a corporate job, people are starting to think about the first quarter and starting to put plans in place so that this first quarter can go really well. And for others, this is also the energy of the end of the year before the Chinese New Year begins, and that also brings with it the final completion, the final overhaul of things, so that you can then eventually start to enjoy your work. So the end of the week, the energy is now the hummingbird is just freely flying and very happy, and it's just going towards the horizon. So that's the part about, don't forget to have fun, don't forget to enjoy, and remember that freedom, always there's always a choice to be free. There's always a choice in freedom, and freedom opens your choices. So, what are those decisions that you may want to take? What are the changes in your lifestyle that you want to make that allow you to have more choices in your life? And that's kind of coming up, by the end of the week. So as we go through these energies, just tuning in and checking for all the people who've joined. How are you doing? And is how is this sitting with you? All these messages of the beginning of the week, midweek, and end of the week. So I would really love to hear from you. So if you leave a comment now, I would love to read it and give a response to it. I'm now bringing through light language activations to assist us to have a beautiful week, a fulfilling week, and what it feels like is a productive week. So allow yourself to go through this experience of having a productive week, fulfilling and satisfying, and at the end of the week, happy. So bringing in all the energy, all the resistance to be released, all the alignments to come in, and for all the energies to be so grounded that these things just become a part of the flow. So as we go through this, and as I bring through the light language, feel free to share in comments if you have any questions. Feel free to share in comments if you would like me to add your wish within the circle. And within this light language activation, I also want to call upon healing energy for people who are going through big life transitions. This week, I've witnessed. Last week, I've witnessed a couple of people who are very dear to me who have been going through major life transitions, whether it be relationship choices or it be health. So just bringing in the energy so that we can bring the best of the collective energy to whoever in this circle, whoever needs to listen to this, so that they can benefit from this collective prayer and collective blessing. So wonderful. So I'm seeing one of the comments that there was no pleasant surprise in the middle of the week. And maybe it wasn't that obvious. But fair enough. And again, when we look at these Akashic messages, we try to put them in our linear timeline. But for some of you, something may strike a chord a couple of weeks from now, or you may be feeling something that I'm going to share a couple of weeks later, because we're all in our own time and in the eternal time as well. So, as we continue to do this rhythm every week, I've been told that these collective experiences will start to align even more, and more stories will come about where we're all starting to experience similar things and similar rhythms, although our externalized experiences may be very different to describe. So, let's see how this week turns out. And I'm just bringing in the activations now. So, allowing yourself to be where you are. And if you have the opportunity right now to be able to put on your headphones and just give yourself a quiet break, then I invite you to do that. And if you're walking, or if you're in a situation where you can't do that, you can listen to this part in the recording later in that way as well. But even simply listening to this is perfect. So I'm bringing through light language activations now. These are coming from our star guides in Sirius. Ala hashira kuno surutu kura sahala asha kanara kutu roku ashu asu ashu asu ashu asu. Yala narakura siaratu kuchukuru sa usaya. Iana la nashu nukura nasu utukuru nushu. There's blessings that's coming forth, coming about to relax the nervous, the neural pathways. Anashulu nukuru nushu itusha asara, itusha asara, itusha asara. To allow a gentle balm, a gentle comfort to the thoughts that have been taking a lot of your energy, just to relax them. Yanashunuku, to provide you with ease. Yalanashu arotu kunushu, while keeping the momentum. Yanashunu surukula atashanaku saina shulukuna shukura sha asayanaka. Yanalanashuru suyusu asaya. I'm also seeing a question come up. Is this the vision for this week or for last week? It's the vision for this week. Yalana Shurunu Shuranasa. And yes, of course, many of us have been feeling overwhelmed at this moment, because we're in that stage where the bird is taking in, trying to chew a lot, to remove obstacles. So we're just making that gentler, gentler and gentler. Yana Shunuku, for there is a part that the bird can chew and remove from the way, and there is also another part that is also taken care of by the divine, by your higher selves, by all the creation, that you don't necessarily need to consciously control. Yanashinuku, there's that level of surrender that's coming in. Yanashinuku luru. And this is a bit hard, for us when we are a lot in the go, 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 go energy. And yet, this balance really tempers that rhythm, so that it can be a rhythm that is sustainable for your body and sustainable for your mind, because I'm seeing a lot of energy around balancing the neural pathways is continuing to happen. Yeah, nashurulu no shoitaka. So any repetitive thoughts that keep you occupied, that keep you busy, worried, anxious, or even just focused, but you're focusing on that a lot, you're thinking about that a lot. Yeah, nashurunu kula shanaka. It's now just gently um, just dissolving into the optimal rhythm and optimal intensity that you need. So ask your guides to give you that optimal balance. Yana shurul nukusa atanaka. So that you think about it enough to care about it, and you don't think about it so much that it takes you away from health. Yana shurulu nushunu shiara sayasa yasa yasa. Yana shunu. Now there are some codes coming in for encouraging us to open our hearts with joy. Yalana Shunuku. And for many of us, it may even feel like, what are you talking about? How can I be joyful right now? There's so many hard situations in my life, and you're asking me to be joyful. Yana Shurunu Nushiana Shu Araka Rukuruku. Yes, absolutely. Yana Luna Sha'asa Nashunuku Rashunuku. Yana Shunasa Lanaka. And joy doesn't always mean deliriously laughing and expressing itself through movement and dance. While it is definitely that, there are other ways in which joy expresses itself too. Sometimes it's a quiet cup of tea sitting in the corner, having a moment to yourself and feeling content and finding something to be grateful for, that helps you feel aligned. Yana Shuranasa Aita Karashu Asalana Shu Asara. Asara Asara. Lots of energy releasing. Yarana Shunuku. Yatukurasha. And there is a bit of an indication that sleep has been one of the recurring things for many of us here. So allowing yourself to give that a particular focus, that sleep is important, so giving yourself that time before you can unwind, and giving yourself time to wake up. So it's not about having that number of hours of sleep that is comfortable for you, but it's also about giving yourself time before you wake up and before you sleep, so that unwinding and really reorienting, that phase before you end the day and before you just before you sleep, yeah, before you end the day and before you begin the day. That's the part where they're asking you to hold this energy. And this is a continuing message from last time, where they spoke about how the blessings are there and your guides are surrounded, and they always surround you in the bed. I mean, when you're lying down on your bed, they surround you and they give you blessings. So they just want to remind you that that continues to happen. Nashara nashuluruno kurushu yanaka. So take your time. Yanashunukulunuku sharana. Some of us, the alarm rings and you're just quickly, in a hurry, and you just want to rush and get everything done. So they're just asking you to take that little bit of time for yourself. Yanasharasa asa asa asa. Ah. So, with all of these messages, I really feel like you might want to take a little bit of integration time before you get back to the rest of your Monday evening. And I thank you so much for being a part of this community, and for us to come every week and to share and bring through all the channeled messages for the week. It helps us journey with this together, and know that we're not alone in the experiences that we are having. And at the same time, I also wanted to share a couple of things that are coming up. So, of course, feel free to book a one-on-one session with me if you want to take your journey deeper, and you want to notice individually what your life patterns are and where do they come from in the Akashic records, and how can you change and transform your Akashic records as well as your life choices, so that you can live a life that is highly aligned with your soul blueprint. So I'll leave the details in the description. Also, on the 6th of Feb, which is the first Friday of February, I am bringing together a group Akashic meditation. I do that every year, every month, and I've been doing this for years now. So there are tickets available on Humanitics, and I'll leave the details as well in the description of this YouTube video. So if you're interested, I welcome you to join it. You can either join that one individual event, or you can even join the community as a subscription. So I welcome you to all of that, and to other ways in which you want to communicate. Feel free to leave messages to me about how the integration is going and how the messages are working through you or not working through you through the week. So, thank you so much for your lovely presence and co creation. I'm really enjoying this group that we are creating. So, have a beautiful Monday. My regards for the Australia Day and everything that this day signifies, and and Happy Republic Day to everyone in India and in any other country if this day is celebrated in some way. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, all the beautiful beings who have joined. So much love to you, and I'll meet you next week at the same time, 5 p.m. Sydney daylight savings time. I'll see you. Bye bye.